Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Julie of Julie's Plans, and in today's video I am so excited to be sharing with you the brand new MakseLife planner from my friend Sierra. I am so excited for this. I have been friends with Sierra for quite some time, having only met over the internet, but she is honestly one of my most favorite people on Instagram and in this planner community. She's also one of the first people that I ever followed on Instagram over 5 years ago, and I've always loved her content and her planning style and just her overall message on all of her platforms. For a while there, she stepped away from Instagram and there was just like a big gaping hole in the planner community, and when she came back, I was so excited and so pumped to see her back and to see that she had this new product coming out. And when she announced that it was this MakseLife goal setting planner system, I was just blown away and honestly expected nothing less from her. So before we move forward and get started, Sierra was kind enough to send 2 of her planners to me. I do have the vertical MakseLife goal setting planner, and then I have the horizontal goal setting planner as well. I will also be sure to leave any links, affiliate links to Sierra's platforms, as well as the website where you can order this goal setting planner, all down in the description box so that I don't have to keep repeating where you can find these items. Now, the link that I do have that you can order through me is an affiliate link, so I do receive a small commission if you choose to use my link, but if you do, thank you in advance if you choose to do so. I greatly appreciate it. All right, so jumping into these planners, first off, I want to kind of go over some of just the overall specs of the planner itself. I'm going to just kind of set aside the horizontal one, just because mainly for the reviews or for the purpose of this review, I am kind of going to be showing you guys mainly the vertical one, but just know that the insides of both are the same with the exception of the weekly part of the planner. Towards the end of the video, I will also be doing some comparisons on different sizes of planners and goal setting systems that are similar to this, along with a pen test and sticker test, because if you are part of this planner community, stickers and pens are very important. All right, so let's start with the details of this item. So the cost of the MakseLife goal setting planner, weekly planner, is $68. What I do love is that the shipping is a flat rate of $5 for now. I don't know if that's going to change, but I love that the shipping is just flat. So if you're gonna order for a friend or with a friend, or you wanna gift this for a family member and order yourself one as well, your shipping will still be $5, which I think is phenomenal. The size of this is 7 by 9, and it has like this really beautiful, durable, hard cover. It's this sort of nice matte, almost velvety. It doesn't feel, it's definitely not shiny. I do love that it's matte so that there's no glare on it. It is rounded on the corners. I really like that it's rounded. I also like that there's no metal brackets on the corner. I'm not a huge fan of metal brackets on the corner. It has this nice coated wire O binding. It's not always my favorite binding, but I also like that it's this sort of matte, almost coppery. I don't want to call it rose gold because I don't really think that it's rose gold, but it's not shiny, which I absolutely love. Now, the cover options will come in 2 options, which is this beautiful yellow and this lighter blue color. What I do love is that the artist of these covers is Peggy over at the Pigeon Letters. I will also include her information as well, so you can check out all of her beautiful work over on Instagram and her website and things like that. Now, as far as the tabs go in this planner, I do have some notes off to the side. As far as the tabs go, they are like this beautiful laminated. They're very durable, and they're in this gray color. I love that it's neutral. That's probably one of my favorite parts, is that it is a nice overall neutral planner. And the great thing as well is that the tabs are hidden by the cover, so if you're someone that's gonna take this with you and it's gonna go in your bag, you don't have to worry about the tabs being destroyed because they are being protected by the cover. It also has an elastic closure on the back, which is attached by these two eyelets right here. And then you can see on the back, I really love that Sierra put the logo of the MakseLife Goal Setting Weekly Planner on the back. It is foiled right there. Again, it's like not rose gold, but kind of. It's almost like a copper finish to it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's me because I don't care for rose gold, so we're just gonna call it copper, right? Okay, so that is everything for the outside. I do love the way that this holds the book closed. If you're gonna keep anything extra in here and you're worried about things falling out, then you'll know that you have this nice closure that will keep everything shut and safe and secure. When you do order your MakseLife planner, it does come in this beautiful keepsake box, which kind of has these nice little like pale blue stripes along with the MakseLife logo on the box. And like I said, it does come in two layouts, both horizontal and vertical, and this is a calendar year 2020 planner, so it does start in January and ends in December of 2020. So when will this planner be available before we dive in? So you will be able to order this planner on Black Friday, so that's November 29th, and they are scheduled to ship the first week of December, which is an amazing turnaround, and it gives you plenty of time to get started in this goal setting system and really set yourself up for success for 2020. Now, some of the other specifications in here that I don't want to forget about sharing with you is that there are 54 pages of weekly goals, 24 pages of monthly goals. You get 13 notes pages in the back, which is phenomenal. You also get weekly notes pages after, I believe it's after each week. And there's also folders included, which is awesome. There's one that's attached to the back cover and then a folder that's on its own on the binding. So let's go ahead and get started and start looking through this awesome system. Okay, so right off when you get to the inside of this goal setting planning system, you have the MakseLife logo, the year 2020, and the power in these pages belongs to, I love that. It starts off immediately with just right there, just telling you to go for it, and I absolutely love that. You'll notice that a lot of the font in here is kind of like this lighter gray with sort of like a blue hue to it. I don't know if it's really coming across through my camera here, but everything is just this nice, beautiful, like lighter color scheme, which is kind of nice and soothing and calming. On this page right here, you'll be able to find all of the contact information for MakseLife, to include their website, their Instagram, and any hashtags that they will be using, so you can find maybe a little bit more inspiration across several platforms. On the next page, you will find a letter from Sierra herself, just kind of going over the mission, what MakseLife means, things like that. I love that. So it says Moxie is a noun and it's a force of character, determination, or nerve. I absolutely love that. So, okay, so now we're on the getting started page, and it really just goes through how to really set yourself up for success for your goals and the steps that it's going to take to get there. So it tells you to make your goals accessible, simple, actionable, and repeatable, basically creating habits to help you be successful with your goals. And then it goes over sort of like this little category key right here, going over your weekly and daily features. You have notes and reflections, weekly tips, gratitude, and habit tracking. So you'll see this throughout this system altogether. Then the next page sort of goes over the goal setting system in 5 steps. And it just goes over how those steps are very straightforward in setting and maintaining your goals. Step 1 is the extremely unique compass assessment system by MakseLife, and it's really, really cool because it's a nice starting point. And like it says right here, it enables you to better design where it is that you want to go. So you're basically gonna assess where you are right now and then where you want to be. And this is how you're going to sort of set yourself up and move forward. On to next step 2, which is setting intentions, which pretty much like it says, creates action, action creates change, and so on, and that's how you're gonna achieve your goals. Step 3, you're gonna set your annual goals, so you're setting your long-term, like big picture goals. Step 4 are your monthly and weekly actions, which, as it says here, is where the magic happens, and it tells you that you'll be guided throughout the year to break down your long-term goals into smaller, actionable items by creating habits. And obviously those habits will help you get to your overall goal and achieving those goals. Then step 5, monthly reflections and quarterly review. And this is where you get a time to sort of look at where you're at and really determine if these goals are still really important to you or achievable or things like that. And what I really, really love about this system overall, from what I've had a chance to look at, is that it honestly gives you a chance to sit there and say, you know what, this isn't working for me, and I'm gonna maybe implement another goal or shift some things or shift how I'm gonna get there. So it really encourages you to get rid of the things that are just not working, and I really, really love that, as opposed to maybe pointing out what you're doing wrong. Maybe that goal just isn't for you. All right, next up we move on to the compass assessment pages right here, and it sort of goes over a guide of what the compass assessment is. So it even tells you right here that it's to increase your self-awareness, recognize opportunities for personal development, change, and growth. I'm absolutely loving the word growth. It actually may be my word for 2020. Setting meaningful goals anchored in your values and purpose, and tracking progress throughout the year so that you can make adjustments accordingly. So it tells you right here that the compass assessment is where you can start where you can have a starting point, evaluating your life as a whole, and embracing that growth. So to get started, it even guides you through this whole thing step by step. So to get started, you're gonna rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on each of these areas of your life that applies to you. Then you will add up how your ratings are and divide that by 8 so that you get your average score. Then you will fill in the sections of the life compass that correspond with your score in each area. And you also get an example. I love the entire like color scheme of this whole thing. But here's what the life compass looks like, and this is kind of where you're gonna start off. And it kind of shows you a small example right here on the bottom corner, if you can see that, and it just kind of shows you what it could look like. I think I'm gonna try to use like a gray mild liner so that it does create that sort of shading effect. You could really use anything to fill this out, but I really do like this. So the life compass goes over these different areas. So personal, fun and recreation, work and learning, family relationships, health and wellness, spiritual growth, and spiritual and personal growth. That's what I meant to say. So let's move on to the next page, where you're actually gonna go in depth of the compass assessment. So on these 2 pages is where you're going to do your assessment scoring. Like I said, it's gonna go over those 8 categories of your life, and you're gonna give yourself a score of 1 to 10 for each assessment, and then you will divide that by 8. Then you will go back and fill out this compass assessment right here, which is kind of like your starting point. On to the next page is your intentions and setting your goals. So it asks you some really great questions like, what could I use more of in my life this year? What could I use less of? What characters would I like to nurture in 2020? Your 3 habits that you want to cultivate for the year, what you will do less of, what you will give yourself grace for. I really love that this overall system sort of is embracing flaws, but also teaching you how to push past them so that you can still achieve your goals. That's what I really like. It's just like a really real system without all of like the fluff and all the extra stuff. And it tells you right here, again, you have like another guide where it tells you to reflect on the answers to your questions above, and this will sort of help you like a brainstorm for your word for 2020, and then you can put it right here. Then you have like a setting goals guide right here. I think this is really helpful if you are someone who maybe struggles with writing out your goals and is just not sure where to get started. This is a great tool to help you here. And it even gives you these small little tips right here, like this one says, when possible, plan the specific days that you will accomplish those goals, or use your habit tracker to track the days that they have been completed. And again, I love that it's really telling you to set realistic yet challenging goals. So don't make things so easy on yourself that the whole system is essentially pointless, but to give yourself goals that are challenging and motivating. And it also reminds you to remove goals that are demotivating. I think that that is extremely important. I am one of those people that struggles with setting goals that are demotivating, and usually it's because I've set a goal that is beyond my reach. It's just so unrealistic that it is demotivating, and then you just don't want to try at all, when what I really needed to do was just to adjust the goal and make it more attainable, thus more motivating, more achievable, and then I would achieve it and just yay, you know? So I really love that they included this guide. And then it also includes a guide to committing to your goals, reviewing your goals, when you need to remove your goals. I love this part just in general. Goals are meant to inspire, not invoke negativity. If you find yourself feeling like you failed or a goal no longer resonates with you, give yourself permission to reassess and adjust or replace it with one thing that is motivating. I absolutely love that. And then it goes into the different 5 steps for each of your monthly goals, annual goals, weekly goals. It's just, so if you get kind of lost in the system and you're just kind of like, well, maybe I'm not, you know, following this process correctly, you can come back to these pages right here and it will tell you how to get there, such as your annual goals. You're gonna start with your intentions that you've set for the year. That was a couple pages back. You'll review your results from the compass assessment, create your stretch goals and dream big. These are your big picture goals. And once you've completed your goals, you're gonna reflect and review all of the ways that it benefited your life. It's really awesome. And then it's kind of the same way through the monthly and weekly, but of course broken down into smaller steps and tasks. And then right here is where you're just gonna write in what your annual goals are for each one based on your compass assessment, all of that stuff right there. I love the little bits of color that are in here. And then you have a nice 2 pages for your vision board. I'm actually really excited about this. I've never actually really done a vision board, but I'm kind of excited to go ahead and try this out. You can either just write out your vision board, you can use pictures. I know a lot of people use Pinterest, other things like that that they find, like, you know, for example, if you want to do some redecorating or remodeling of your home, you might be able to put some pictures of some of your goals of what that remodel looks like, or list out the things that you want to accomplish, but like with really pretty color lettering and all that fun stuff. But this is a chance for you to just kind of sprawl it all out on here, and it'll be fun to look at and motivating to look at throughout the year. And then you have another page of just some goal setting quick tips. And what I love is that is where the prep work for this goal setting system ends, because it's really just a nice simple system. It's gonna ask you, you know, to assess your life. What are your big picture goals? You know, how the steps that you're gonna take to get there, and it gives you some guides on how to get there, but that's where it ends, because the rest of it, how you're gonna keep track of everything, is in the planner part of this, which makes the system so unique, because most of the time that's kind of where it ends, and you just assess weekly and monthly, but there's no daily pages for you to keep track of what you're doing each day to reach those goals. So just a quick, to kind of show you the beginning of each month, you kind of get like a nice little quote. I love that this one is like just begin. You'll get a quote at the beginning of each month. It'll keep you nice and motivated. And then you're gonna have your quarterly assessment. So you won't get a quote at the quarterly part of this planner. You're gonna sit here and reassess and sort of grade your life with how you're doing with your goals. And we're back with the quotes. And let's see, and then there's your quarterly assessment again. So I'm just gonna flip through and show you what these look like. Another one. And then I do believe at the end of the year, you have your last quarterly assessment along with a calendar for the current full year and the year ahead. So you'll have 2020 and 2021. So now let's check out the monthly view. The monthly view gives you lots of space here. You'll see that each of the days is kind of in the center of each square and just lightly shaded. You'll get a quote across the top here. You also get a forward month at a glance and a nice column for your notes pages. Now, each month does have a different color. So you'll see there's February. Let's get to March, I skipped over March, has a sort of lighter green color. April, back again with this sort of gray color. May has yellow. June has almost like a peach color. July has a lighter pink. August is a light lavender. Everything is very pastel, very muted, and you know, sort of so that the color doesn't get in the way of what you're writing. It's not a distraction. A nice light blue for September. The mint color again for October, green for November, and the gray for December. So there is your monthly view. You also do get the holidays in here in sort of like a light print, like a light gray color right there. Now we'll get into your monthly goals, and again, you can reference the guides at the front to sort of break down how you're gonna achieve each of these goals for the month, and along with a nice little quote up here. And here's where you get that extra notes page, and I love that it always includes like a little tip. So right here for January, it has planning ahead, dedicating 10 to 15 minutes a week to set your goals, and so on. And now you go immediately from your monthly goals to your weekly action items. So you can just sort of look at this and list out a couple of things that you want to do each month, or each week I should say, to achieve your goal for the month. And I, again, just love the color coding in this whole thing, and that it just follows you throughout the entire system. And then here is a look at the vertical layout. I absolutely love this thing. I did get a chance to actually have some input on this and a couple of discussions with Sierra on having vertical as an option, and I'm so glad that she moved forward with it, because you guys know I love vertical everything. So really super excited. It does start technically December 30th because that is the Monday of that first week of the new year. You get a nice area for habits right here. So again, that keeps, you know, any sort of habits that you want to include as part of your goals, you can keep them right here and keep track of them. You have a nice area for notes, a shaded area across the bottom that you could use for whatever you want. Again, the holidays are in this lighter gray print up above. Everything is just nice and clean and neutral. This is really a great system if you are not into adding anything extra, you're just a pen and paper person. But again, because it is so neutral, if you want to add color with like mild liners, other highlighters, different colored pens, stickers even, that would be absolutely great. So one of the things that I wanted to include, and so just so we can go through the whole week. So you have the week right here, and then you have a notes page again. I love that there's a notes page for every week. You can just kind of jot down some things that didn't work, what's working, just notes in general for your life, because again, this isn't just a goal setting system, it's also a planner. So you have this space to keep your goals in mind, and then any notes that you need to have for the week. I would probably also use this for like meal planning, although there's also lots of space in the weekly view to do that as well. There's lots of flexibility here. So again, on the notes page, you will have a little tip, a space for your weekly action items, and so on. So then every week is the same: notes, weekly actions, weekly layout with the habit tracker, and so on. And then at the end of the month, when I get there, January is a long month, you will have monthly reflections. And I think that this is so important because it gives you an area to write your biggest win, things that are currently working, things that are currently not working, what you learned this month, what improvements or adjustments you need to make going into the next month, what you are most grateful for, habits to nurture for the next month, and then your overall satisfaction for this month. I love that because you know what? Some months are just much better than others, and some months are crappier than others. And it just gives you a moment to just be really real about your life and where things are at. So that is everything for what an entire month looks like. So let's go to the quarterly review. So when you get to the end of the quarter, you're going to see the compass once again, and this will give you a chance to okay, you've had 90 days to work on your goals, you're gonna sort of rate yourself again from 1 to 10 in each area, 10 being the lowest, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. And you're gonna use the chart to compare your scores with those from the last assessment. And this would actually be from the original assessment at the beginning, since this is the end of the first quarter. And then what you will do here is your overall scores, do they increase, decrease, or stay the same? So this is kind of just a great way to reassess where you are, because then you might need to shift your focus and shift your goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. What personal actions contributed the most to these results? 3 words that describe how I generally felt over the last 90 days, and where your biggest opportunity was for growth. I love that so much. So you kind of get like a little, I don't want to say like start over, but you do get that chance to reassess and really think about, okay, did the last 90 days even really have an effect? Was it a good one, a bad one? Do we need to change things? I love that so, so much. And just to show you quickly what the horizontal looks like in the MakseLife, let's get to January here. Now this is what the horizontal view looks like. You do get a lot of space. I could see where the horizontal would be very useful if you want to use this more like a journal. You have definitely all the space to write, whereas with the vertical, things get very, very narrow. I do like that it's lined. And then you also have a box on the right that is open, but every other day is shaded. Very similar to the weekly view, except the days are not shaded in the weekly view of the vertical. It's just the bottom part. So if the shading doesn't bug you and horizontal is your jam and you want to use this more like a journal, or horizontal is just more your planning style, then that will definitely work for you. I am a vertical person, but at the same time, the more I look at the horizontal, I could see how this could be useful for journaling for someone like me, simply because I do use an Erin Condren life planner. But I go back a little bit here because you can really use this system as your planner and a goal setting system all in one, which is its intention anyway. So if you don't use another planner, this could pretty much solve all of your problems because it's all in one. So back to looking at the horizontal, everything is the same with the exception of the horizontal view being what it is. And you still get the holidays, things like that. So you can see New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, you get the habits, you get an area for notes, things like that. I personally think that there's a little bit more writing space in the horizontal just because you have everything going this way and you can write full sentences if you needed to. Okay, so let's talk about the size, because I know a lot of us need some visual comparisons. The MakseLife is 7x9, like I said earlier in the video, but you'll notice it kind of has a similar look and feel to something like an Emily Ley, but it is definitely bigger than the Emily Ley. The Emily Ley is a little bit less wide, as you can see right here, and the MakseLife, they're actually the same height. They have the same type of binding as you can see here, but you're gonna get a little bit more width out of the MakseLife. You can see here the pages are wider as well. So yeah, there's definitely a size difference there if you wanted to see the difference between those two. And then let's take a look at the Cultivate What Matters, which I do believe the Cultivate What Matters is much, much larger. So it is not, I'm trying to get the covers to line up here. Yeah, there's a huge size difference. It looks like the Cultivate What Matters is almost 2 inches larger and just a hair wider. The cover is just a little bit wider, but the pages are significantly wider. As you can see, these end right here. Size-wise, portability-wise, you're gonna find that the MakseLife is definitely smaller and possibly easier to carry around. Now, if we wanted to compare to a life planner size, let's take a look at these two. They're almost exactly the same because the life planner is 7x9, but you will find that the wire O binding is slightly larger. Now this is a monthly deluxe, so the coil might be a little bit smaller, but The profile being what it is makes the coils stick out a little bit more, but the pages themselves are the same 7x9 size. Now, let's talk about paper, because paper quality is extremely important in this community. The paper, I was very, very shocked that the quality of this paper is just phenomenal. It is 80-pound bright white paper. It is actually the same weight paper that is in the Erin Condren Life Planner. However, the textures are very different. This paper is nice and smooth. It is not slick, which I absolutely love, but you'll know if you are an Erin Condren Life Planner user, they use Mohawk paper, and the type of Mohawk paper that they use has a little bit of a texture to it, and if you used it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It handles porous tip pens really, really well, which is fantastic. It handles all pens really well, to be exact. This has the same weight paper, so what I really wanted to do was I grabbed a few of my favorite pens, and I just realized I forgot to talk about the folders in the back of this planner. So let's briefly go over, there's the 13 pages of notes pages in the back, which again is kind of unheard of in this style of planner. Let me put those pens down. Usually when you see a planner of this style, now granted it's not daily, it's weekly, there's no notes pages. It's usually you get the calendar and like some other page, and it ends like here. You're lucky if you actually get a notes page behind that page. But they did include tons of notes pages for you, which is phenomenal. Again, you guys know my biggest gripe with any notes page is that it's lined and not dot grid. I find dot grid to be more flexible and customizable for whatever your needs are, and lined is just, it's just not my personal jam. So there are your 13 notes pages right there, and then you have a pocket folder that actually has two pockets, one on the back and the front, that is on the binding itself. And then you have this attached pocket folder. I don't really know the exact name of this style of folder, but it is kind of like an accordion style. You'll see that right there. So you can add things, but I would add with caution because it is attached to this binding or this cover right here, and I just don't know how long it'll last. We'll actually just have to use it for a year and find out. So, but it is paper. Now it is thicker, so that's good, and it's got the nice striped, gray striped theme that you see throughout this planner. So let's go back to the notes page, and I'm just gonna select, let's see, we're just gonna go to this page right here. Just a random page in the back, really. And I'm gonna try out some of these pens. These are ones that I tend to use the most in a lot of my videos and that I've used a lot over the last year, and what I would probably reach for in the upcoming year. And I'm just gonna try these out, and then I'm gonna come back and show you how they look on this paper. Okay, so I tried a variety of pens, mainly starting with the more fine tip, porous tip pens like your Tombow, your Sharpie, your Big Intensity, and then I started to go into the heavier porous tip pens like the Erin Condren that has both a fine tip and a medium tip. I also tried a couple of gel ink pens that I absolutely love, which are the Tool Gel Ink 0.7 in needle tip and the Pilot G2 0.7, which is pretty much one of the most popular planner pens out there. And then I went in with the Sharpie permanent marker, which usually fails every pen test because you're actually not supposed to write on paper with it, but I still like to test it out to show just how well the paper handles these. So I'm gonna zoom in to sort of show you guys how it looks. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip the page over, and oh wow, okay, this is my first time looking at this, and you can see the only one, and I write really heavy-handed, that shows any sort of ghosting or little bits of bleed through is the actual permanent marker. You can see slight ghosting. I do believe that this is the Erin Condren medium, which is like the thickest. Yep, it's the thickest of the ones that I tried. But the rest, let me just set it all the way down here. You really don't see. It's really just these two lines. So there's the Erin Condren, and then there is the Sharpie permanent marker. I would never ever write in my planner with this marker. This is purely to test how the paper handles this, which is, yeah, I'm blown away. This is really okay. So one of the things that I also wanted to include in this review was the sizing of the columns in the vertical and how things would fit. So I did grab one of my Erin Condren rulers, and you will be able to see that the columns are indeed 1.5 inches, which is amazing, because if you're going to switch from one system to another, you'll know that a lot of shops' stickers, if you want to use stickers in this system, are formatted almost like the Erin Condren size is the quote-unquote standard, if you will. So I did grab a couple of sticker sheets from my favorite shops, both Chrissy Ann Designs and Planner Kate, to show you how stickers would fit in this goal setting system if it's what you really want to use. So I am really kind of happy, I'm not gonna lie, that these stickers are most likely gonna fit without any issues whatsoever. Now, they're not sized for the lines, if that matters to you. Again, that's another point that I want to add, that these vertical columns are lined and with no times, which is like amazing. So there's a couple of those. I'm just gonna try out a few of these. I figured some event labels would be the best thing to try, because that's probably the easiest way to measure if things are gonna fit in here. I also have this half box, or full box, sorry, from Chrissy Ann Designs that I wanna try in here. Let's see. And it just goes over just a smidge, but I'm also like over a little bit on the line. So let me pull it back up. And that pulled up beautifully. But if you put it right on the lines, because you'll know in the like hourly from Erin Condren, you have additional space on the left and right. And here you are given like, this format is just like the vertical format in the Erin Condren, in that you're given the exact space for a sticker. And I cannot put down anything straight to save my life, so you've probably already figured out that this fits. So let's try one more time. Third time's a charm. So there's that sticker. You'll see that that fits really well. Let's go ahead and try maybe the This Week sticker over on the notes, in case you kind of want to cover that up, and that will look really nice. I'd have to put it up here to really cover it up, but I kind of just want to put it here to show it above the line right there. That actually looks really, really nice. I love that there's this header space right here, because you guys know that I like to track the weather and things like that. That's where I would put that. Yeah, so your stickers are gonna work amazingly well in this system. You're not gonna have to buy anything to change it up. In my opinion, what I would use in this system to match sort of the colors of the compass, let me back out a little bit, would probably be, let's see, let's get to the compass assessment page that I have lost. Would probably be to just use like some color coding dots, or even mild liners that would match this. That way I could keep any tasks that I'm doing matching those colors, if that makes sense. And then I can see what steps I'm making towards each of these categories. I knew that I would forget to mention something, so we are back really quick. There will be these bookmarks available on launch day, and I'm so excited for these. They are sort of in this gradient color coding. You can kind of put this one where your vision is, your monthly goals, your weekly goals. These are just amazing. So these will also be available on launch day. There will be bundles available on launch day. I highly suggest checking out the website and kind of taking a peek around. So wanted to make sure I jumped in and mentioned these really quick before I forgot. Okay, so I think that that is everything for this review. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to ask down below in the comments section. I am so excited for this new system. I'm really kind of concerned for my 2020 planner lineup, because this is kind of shaking things up for me. I really do love the simplicity of the MakseLife. Like, I can't even describe it. I love that it's neutral, but it has some color coding kind of infused into it. I love the combination of the goal setting and the planning. If you're someone that doesn't want to carry around a separate goal setting planner and a separate planner, this is definitely going to be perfect for you. The paper quality is phenomenal. Yeah, I think my only thing is that I've never really been a fan of the wire O binding. That's just my personal preference. I do love the colors of the cover options that you have, the blue and the yellow. I personally prefer the yellow. Yeah, it's really hard for me to find things that I don't like about this system. The struggle will be where to implement this into my planning style without giving up other things that I truly love. So that is definitely a struggle. That's gonna be the big struggle right there. So I just wanna give a huge thank you to Sierra and her team over at MakseLife. This is a product that is truly well done, and you can tell that there was a lot of thought put into this system and developing a system that will truly make goal setting motivating, inspiring, not overwhelming. I'm just blown away. So again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. I will have a link below where you can order, as well as an affiliate link to order on launch day. I wish you guys all the best in deciding what you're gonna do. If you are new to my channel, thank you so very much for joining me today and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will stick around and subscribe. If you are already subscribed, please be sure to hit that notification bell. I do post new videos every single week. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.